3G Boss in partnership with Canary Wharf Group. In association with Simple Call, sponsored by Feast Restaurant, NCL Tours, London Churchill College and Shard Restaurant, Brick Lane. Charity partner, ICRA International.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Behind the Boss. As always, this is where it all goes down and it gets together, because this is where we find out what went wrong, what went right, and why the person was eliminated. Today with me on the 5th episode of 3G Boss, eliminated was Afra. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, we're really glad that you're here. Now, you've come a very long way, you know, although you have been eliminated from the process. But you've come a long way. Lots of people had applied. You got through the interview stage and you went through 5 episodes, which is amazing. How has the experience been for you?
I really loved it. It gave me, I learned so many new experiences that helped me go through life, and then the life skills as well, so it will help me when I grow up.
How old are you?
I'm 16.
Okay, but brilliant that it's giving you life skills. Like how has it changed things for you?
For instance, it helped me to be more confident and to approach people more easily, and if I need to fundraise or help with my school organization, it will help me to be more confident and try to raise much more.
Well, let's talk about this episode that we just watched earlier on. Now, this episode was all about designing a calling card. So we did this in conjunction with Zamir Telecom, so for Simple Call, where you had to, design the card, you had to market the card, and then you had to go out and sell the cards. How was that task? How did you find the task? Because you were the team leader.
It was a bit challenging because we were prepared, we knew what to do, but the challenging part was quite surprising because I didn't know what it was until the end, and then I realized it was about timing, and I couldn't handle the timing, and I didn't know. It was a surprise because time goes really fast, and you never notice it, and you never know if the timing was wrong or not until the end, and then you're like, if I done that quicker, or if I led someone to this quickly, we could have done better.
Well, we'll speak to you a bit later on. Right next to you, we have proud mum of Afra. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. Fine. And how are you?
I'm okay. You must be absolutely overwhelmed by your daughter's achievements. How has it been for you, the journey, watching her grow so much in this process?
Yeah, it was a good experience, for her, and improve her skill in the future. She know whatever she want, life is not for education or for other things, lots of experience, there's sale or different side, she have got this knowledge.
এবং আপনার কাছে কি লাগে যে মেয়েদেরকে, স্পেশালি আপনার মেয়ে গিয়েছে এত বড় একটা প্রসেস, একটা কম্পিটিশনে, আপনার কাছে কি লাগে যে আমাদের সব মাদেরকে এভাবে পুশ করা উচিত?
ইয়েস, অফ কোর্স, আমি চাই যে সব মারাই দেখ না বাচ্চাদের, আর মেয়ে বলতে না, মেয়ে মানে আরো বেশি নলেজ হওয়া উচিত না লাইফে।
Absolutely, thank you so much. Next to you, we have the beautiful Kohinoor Kabir, who's in recruitment, and of course, you are one of the judges for the 3G Boss.
Yeah.
You worked quite closely with Team Satellite, which was the losing team. How was it? What did you feel?
I think they had the right intentions, and I think Afra is right. It was a lot to do with time management in the start, because I actually was working with them, but also observing the other team as well. I feel with Afra, they just lost track of time. And the other thing is, the other team, they already had in mind the kind of design that they wanted to have on their card. So there was a lot of background preparation that they did, which I felt Afra's team didn't.
And do you think this could have been because right at the beginning you had Lamisha slightly messed up? Tell us a little bit about that situation.
No, look, Lamisha, I think I've said it a few times, she's a character.
Yeah.
And she's made a few mistakes, but, you know, I'll give credit to her as well in that, you know, when she was selling the cards, I think I mentioned on the show that she actually, someone said they didn't have any money on them, and she said, well, you know, I have to go to the ATM machine. I said, well, I'll come with you. So, you know, so she did her best. But no, I think the thing that went wrong, I think, was really in the morning when they were planning everything. Yeah. And also, towards the end of the day, they had a lot of cards left that they could have sold. Yeah. And if I'm honest with you, Afra, I think you should have, instead of bringing Nabila back, you should have brought Tusha back. Because Tusha, he didn't sell much at all. No. So I think what could have, you know, you could have won the task really if you'd sold all your cards.
Coming to you now, Afra. Now, this has been quite a discussion, actually, a debate, even in the boardroom, that why did you bring back Lamisha and Nabila? Why was Nabila and Tushar not brought back? Because even Howard Dober asked you that question. What was the reasoning behind this?
Well, first of all, I was really nervous, which I guess everyone would be if they were in my position. So I just tried to think about profit, because if we had a bigger profit, then we would have won. Yeah. So I thought that because Lamisha and Nabila done the smallest amount, so I thought I should bring them back. Yeah. And just for those watching at home, if you have any questions for Afra, or if you just want to share your thoughts on the whole elimination, do you think she was rightly eliminated? Do you think it should have been someone else? You can have your voice heard and you can be a part of the show as well. All you've got to do, you can see below, you can tweet us at 3GBoss, and don't forget to use the hashtag 3GBossLive. And of course, Facebook too. Go hit the like button at 3GBoss UK. Now, coming back to Afra, as you were saying about the whole situation with Tushar, Nabila and Lamisha, although you brought Lamisha and Nabila back, do you feel you were rightly eliminated, or do you think it should have been someone else? Well, I don't know. I think... Be honest. It depends. I think Nabila is a really great contestant. I think the mistake I made was bringing Nabila back, because she got Connect wrong. But then she has done quite a big mistake. She done her best selling the cards. Did she? She did. Okay. And so you would rather bring back if you could go back, you would have brought back Lamisha and Tushar instead of Nabila. Although Nabila got Connect wrong on the spelling, and she wasn't as she didn't sell as much as Lamisha did, because Lamisha, as Kohinoor mentioned, she had actually gone to the ATM. She was hard selling. She wanted to sell. She wanted to get those sales, but you still would have got Lamisha back. Oh, I think the people I chose with me, I think it was going to be me who would be eliminated, because Lamisha has done her best and Nabila tried. Well, that's good enough. I'll tell you what, there was a situation where Lamisha yet again had her Lamishisms. Let's go check out the video where she got really lost with the cards, and let's see what she had to say.
You should have checked it earlier.
I asked check it earlier.
Yes.
Oh, but I mean doing their cards for the... Oh, God. Oh, I've got the numbers.
Which one?
The batch numbers.
Go back.
No problem. That's not very
Doesn't matter.
important. Yeah, customer just need these. Don't worry about that. That's for us, not for them.
What exactly happened there for those that didn't get to watch the 3G Boss?
The company has mistaked, and what the mistake was that they have mixed up the number of £5 calling cards and £1 calling cards we were supposed to have in the team. So what happened was the amount we wanted, the other team had, and the amount they wanted, we had.
Right. So why didn't you check this properly?
I didn't know because it was in a leaflet, and then I gave it to Lamisha, I think, and she was sorting everything out.
Yeah.
And then, I was organizing everything.
And you delegated to Lamisha.
Yeah. And then at the end, I was checking everyone if they were doing their job. I went over to Lamisha and asked if she was alright, and then she said she was. And then just to make sure, I just checked the cards we had and if they were the right amount.
Yeah.
And then I realized that we were short on the £5 cards.
Right. But you guys actually had quite a good amount. I know Kohinoor is dying to say something. I'll come to you in a second. But you had, I think it was 150 cards for £5 and you had 100 cards of £1. So actually, the ratio you had was winning ratio, because if you had sold the 150 cards of £5 notes, £5 calling cards, you would have actually won. You would have won it with flying colours. What went wrong?
Was that our original amount we wanted? I think the thing that was wrong was me and Lamisha were in Green Street and we were we were just selling out really fast.
Yeah.
However, what happened in Whitechapel, Asmain was doing amazing. However, Nabila and Tushar, apparently they weren't they told me they were doing great, so I thought they were selling much. And then after some time, I asked them again, and they're saying that they didn't sell much. So that's the time I got confused. And then I said, okay, then try to sell it at a cheaper rate.
Right, brilliant. Come to Kohinoor, I know you're itching to say something.
No, I just think with the task, I think it was a lack of quality control at the start.
Right.
Even with the spelling mistake, I mean, ultimately, as team leader, you should
be looking at
you should also take responsibility for that. But I think, when Afra was speaking to all of her team members, how are you guys doing? And they say, we're doing well. What Afra should have done is, okay, tell me how many you've sold. Actually get the numbers. And that way, I think you would have known whether they were doing well or not. But it's done. Can I just say to the viewers, Afra has been a pleasure to work with, and the great thing about her is, she's finished her GCSE, she's going to do her A-level, she's got all A's and A stars, and she's done extremely well, and that's the caliber of people that we have on the show, and I think it's awesome to see them actually leave the show and then go on to do bigger and better things. So well done.
What's next for you, Afra?
I would like to try my best in my A-levels, so I'm trying to focus all on my A-levels and try to study medicine in the future, inshallah.
And working with 3G Boss, the whole process in itself, I know you've already told me that it's given you, a lot of life skills, etc. To the viewers that may want to get involved next year, what piece of advice would you give them?
First advice, when you're in 3G Boss, be confident. Second advice will be, no matter what, but try to express your opinion as much as possible. So that's a kind of a teamwork you have. And the third advice will be, never give up.
And I know you've already touched on this as well, that it's changed you as a person, etc. But how has this changed you? What are the changes? What are the changes that your friends can see in you?
Well.
In fact, actually, instead of asking you, let's ask your mum, because your mum knows you better. What are the changes that you've seen in her since 3G Boss?
She need to change. She need to.
How has she changed? How has she changed for the better?
It's more confident. She need to be more confident, and she have got now.
Brilliant.
And,
So you've picked up a lot of confidence.
and next any this type of program she can be prepared, no?
এখন মানে ওর প্রিপারেশনটা ভালো হচ্ছে এবং কনফিডেন্সটা আরো
নেক্সট
আসছে।
প্রোগ্রামে আরো মানে সেরকম কিছু হলে তাহলে সে আরোই নিতে পারবে না।
এবং আপনি কি চান যে এই যে ও যে 3G বস থেকে এগুলা করলো এখন এটা ওর লাইফে কিভাবে চেঞ্জটা
এটা ওর লাইফে শুধু এডুকেশন ইজ নট ইম্পর্টেন্ট ইজ outside knowledge is also, no? Even you decide you are going to be like medicines, it's not be possible, no? You need to do extra activities, extra knowledge, extra work experience, no? This এটাই ওর জীবনকে মানে করবে না যে অন্য কিছু করার জন্য না
অবশ্যই। এবং কোহিনুর, coming to you, you've seen these like young adults from the interview stage to seeing their CVs on paper and then watching them on screen now. Who's changed the most? So we're on the 5th episode right now. We're not going to talk about any more episodes, but so far, who's been the biggest change?
I think I've seen a lot of growth with Lamisha.
Right.
Just because the problems that we had as a judge was she just would talk all the time and never listened. But as the episodes went on, she got better and better. The other person I would say who we haven't seen much of is Jawad. You'll see him grow throughout the episodes. So those are the two that I think have grown the most. And look, having met Afra as well, after a couple of months after filming, just speaking to her, I can see.
I saw your reaction as soon as she walked in. You were like, "You look so great."
But she's oozing confidence that she didn't have when she came onto the show, and it's so wonderful to see because I think to myself, where is she going to be in a year's time, in 2 years' time, and just continue doing what you're doing. And also I think with Afra it is a confidence thing, and I think if you continue doing challenging things, challenge yourself, and every day you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much. We do have a small tribute video for you about your journey, so let's go check out Afra's journey from the beginning to now.
You were stuck on a desert island.
Also, something that will entertain me could be anything, like a ball or always motivate my group to work well, even if we lose or anything. I will always tell them that don't worry, we can do it next time better, or we will learn something. What's our team name?
Well, I think our team name should be Stella.
That's catchy.
Says 150, she charged me £2.
Would you like to buy some sweets, cakes? This cake is £2.50, £3.50 and £1. I'm very enthusiastic and I present really well. I've already organised a questionnaire for the team, which I will be carrying out, and so we'll know what package. This winter with our package to ancient Egypt. Egypt is such an astonishing country that will make that it fulfills all your expectations.
We've actually seen such a difference just by watching the tribute video, from when you've started to this moment sitting here, the confidence, as you said, Kohinoor, absolutely oozes out. I can see it, I can feel it. So it's, brilliant and well done. And it is time for me to say goodbye. But before I say goodbye to you, you have to tell me, I ask everybody on every Behind the Boss. This is the tricky part. Who's your favourite contestant?
Okay, my favourite contestant is Sadia because she's very confident. She has the leadership in her because every task we had in 3G Boss, she showed lots of confidence and she knew what she was going to do. So she's one of my favourite contestants.
And who's been the worst to work with? Who do you think should be eliminated?
I think everyone done well, but because Tushar came new, so he didn't have the experience we had before. So he was quite new and he didn't know a lot. So I think
so it took a bit of time for him to gel in.
So
brilliant. Well, thank you so much, and thank you so much for joining us. Gainur, I'm sure we'll see a lot more of you. Thank you so much for joining us today. And for those of you watching at home, don't go anywhere because we have lots more coming up for you. And just a quick reminder before we go on a quick break, make sure you go on to facebook.com/3GBossUK, hit the like button, send us your comments, send us what you want to ask the contestants or the judges coming up next. But for now, here's a quick break.
You're watching Channel S.
3G Boss in partnership with Canary Wharf Group. In association with Simple Call, sponsored by Feast Restaurant, NCL Tours, London Churchill College and Shard Restaurant, Brick Lane. Charity partner, ICRA International.
You're watching Channel S.
Welcome back to Behind the Boss, and yes, I'm sure you guys are all busy clicking away, but stop for now because I still have some special guests with me in the second segment of Behind the Boss. Firstly, I have, of course, none other than the MD of Zamir Telecoms, Nofal Zamir. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Doing great, thank you.
Also a barrister, should I add? we'll be having a few debates today, so that's why I thought I'd mention that.
Well, I have a learned friend here as well. So.
And right next to you, we have Jahin, who's the host of the 3G Boss. Welcome back. You've been on a lovely holiday to Dubai recently.
Nice to be
Slightly tanned, but golden. I quite like it. Maybe Sanwar Chaudhry can give you some tips on makeup because, as we know, he's very good at applying. Yeah, absolutely. And we have Sanwar Chaudhry, who's an entrepreneur, successful businessman, and of course the judge of the 3G Boss. Welcome to the show. How are you feeling?
Great.
I'm actually going to start with Nofal Zamir first. The only reason I'm going to start with you is because this whole episode was about selling and marketing and designing a call card. And it was for Simple Call. Now, how did you find that? There were young adults. You've got this, £1 million turnover business, and you've just taken on these young adults and you've said to them, hey, you want to sell 250 cards, I'll let you do that right now. You design it, you do everything, and I'll leave you to it. That's a big risk. Has that affected your business?
Not really, no. It's the service at the end of the day is provided by us. So the quality of the service is not a problem because we look after that. I think they have done a marvelous job. I was quite surprised, very pleasantly surprised looking at their performance and the way they done it throughout the day, because the biggest thing is attitude. It's not about you learn every day. We all learn every day as we go along. It's about someone's attitude that makes him or her different from the other. So if you take it on as, yes, I'll keep trying, as Afra mentioned earlier, never give up and be more confident. And you look at this, the whole idea of the 3G Boss is to grow leadership. is to train leaders in our community, and I can really see them growing, and that's the biggest pleasure for me, is to see that the youngsters are taking life as they should.
Yeah.
And be confident, be courageous, and they're doing fantastic.
And what was your favorite design? Whose? Was it diamond, satellite?
Diamonds. Yeah. The design-wise, it was a lot better.
Yeah.
I would say.
Will you be using that?
Not necessarily. We are not into calling cards anymore. We don't do calling cards.
Right.
We do pinless. But most importantly, it's not the product. It's the people who comes up with the product, and that's what is important. So these boys and girls who have done the job, they are recruitable anytime. They're only they're going to do A-levels. Afra is going to do A-levels. They're recruitable simply because of their zeal and passion towards it, because that's all matters. Because if you have the zeal and passion, you will learn, and you'll learn quickly. And if you're on it, you'll be successful. It's just a question of time. You keep trying, you'll make it.
Absolutely. And Sanwar Chaudhry, judging for the Diamond team, you were watching them both actually, you and Kohinoor were going over both teams. Do you think, because I did hear you mention that Satellite had a better ratio when it came to the calling cards, and they should have won, quite rightly. What do you think went wrong for them?
I think, as you said earlier, they just held on to those £5 cards, even if they had sold them like the other team did towards the end at £2 per card. That would have generated revenue, and they would have easily won if they'd simply sold the remaining cards at even £2, £3 per card, because these did have values of £5, so that would have worked. But the amazing thing is, given the opportunity, these kids came out with amazing, innovative solutions, and the Kohinoor card looked, felt, and was sold like the real thing. There is in fact a card out there that has 10,000 minutes.
Wow.
For £1. So
right. But Simple Call does pinless. So
the whole idea we came into we launched Simple Call is to get rid of the mainstream. There's a lot of dodgy calling cards, 10,000 minutes and what have you.
Yeah.
The whole principle of Simple Call was to bring into market something which people can trust.
Yeah.
So that's where we stand apart.
And I have a question for you here, actually. Last episode that we watched, you guys decided, Howard, you and Kohinoor had decided that you wanted to bring back Lamisha because you thought she should have been back in the boardroom. Why is it in this episode, especially when you've mentioned whilst judging that Tushar should have been in the boardroom, why did you not bring back Tushar?
We judge episode by episode. I think before we wanted to make an example that this was a case where Lamisha needed to understand what had gone on and that she had been saved by the skin of her teeth. I think this time round, there was a balancing act. Although Tushar didn't perform as well as he should have done, we thought the people that had come in, we had enough material there in order to make a decision. And I think Afra, unfortunately, we gave 5 members to that team. And if Ajmain had pulled his weight, had helped Afra, they would have done much better. But I think
Ajmain did quite a bit.
He did, but he didn't do the team support and management that he could have done. He did work by himself. He did go out there and he did put the effort in. But doing that team management, which he has experience of, he did less of. So I think it was a balancing act, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Coming to Jahin, because you work quite closely with all of the contestants. Now, I know what Sanwar Chaudhry just said about Ajmain, he should have pulled his weight. But actually in the last episode, it was said that he was quite, he was really hands-on. He could have been he was quite aggressive. And Sadia had even mentioned that. Do you think that's probably why he kind of toned down in this episode?
Well, Ajmain as a person, he's got a very adamant personality about him. When he wants to do something, he does it to the best capability he can do. In previous tasks, you can see how he performed. The last task, in the charity task, he set up his own Just Giving page in competition with Razwan just to see how much he can raise himself. In this task, he dressed up in a Bangladesh jersey, he had the hat on, and he was selling Bangladesh to people. He wasn't selling a calling.
In Bangla.
He was speaking in
using
Bangla
his
as well.
USP.
Yeah, and I think he's a very strong candidate, and he does work to his full potential, and that's one thing I really like about him.
Now, Tushar's been the talk today. He's been the the bud at the moment with regards to gossip, because everyone's been saying how Tushar should have actually been in the boardroom. What are your views on
I completely agree with that. Lamisha should not have been in the boardroom. She did work hard. She's got that bubbly character about her. People like it. When she's on the street, people love that character. And I think in selling...
But she can be quite cheeky.
She can be quite cheeky, but in selling, you need to be cheeky. When you're a salesperson, you've got to have that attitude. You've got to be cheeky. And I think she suits a person in the sales industry. But Tushar, he walked around Whitechapel Market, up and down. I asked him, what are you doing? He goes, I don't know who to sell to. He had cards in his hand, he didn't really sell.
But then he's known as the salesperson.
Yeah, he's new as a salesperson. It's week 2 now. He can't say, I just get adjusting to the program, because he's been here last week. His team won last week.
Yeah.
Now he should be fully focused. He should know how this competition is. And if he doesn't, get along with the contestants next series, then maybe it's not right for him to be here.
Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. Nofal, who's been your favourite in this episode? Or so far, actually?
It's very difficult because there are quite a few. I really like their attitude. By the way, I would judge someone is their zeal and effort and the passion linked with it, and how they translate that in action. I think I have 3 favourites here. Sadia, Ajmain and Zawad. All 3, I think they're quite extraordinary. They stand out. Even Afra, today I've seen Afra, is completely different, from the first episode.
Yeah.
All of them are having it's a life transforming experience for all of them. And I think all of them are going to make themselves extraordinary in due course.
And actually you do, like you had mentioned and Kohinoor had mentioned previously in the previous episodes, that you've seen them grow. They've grown, their personalities have changed. Afra's mum was saying that she oozes out confidence. And, and we see this. But some of them have become quite aggressive and, and they feel like, I'm the strongest and, I have to be the strongest. And they compete with each other, even in this episode we watched, right?
Absolutely. With Ajmain, we saw that, going into Rad's territory. But Shobson Mozalak
quite naughty.
Lamisha going to, these couple of women saying, Kinin Laurago, please. That sort of... that was lovely. I mean, she hasn't changed. She's become confident and she has listened to what we've said. But I think she hasn't changed a great deal.
But I think Ajmain and Rad have actually changed slightly with regards to their sales technique, and actually we saw it more in this episode. And we've got a clip where they go into each other's patch and aggressive selling starts. Let's go check it out.
I want to think the same thing. Can you please be quiet? Come on, bro. How much are you buying from? Be quiet. We are making a sale. Thank you. Would you be willing to buy a calling card to Bangladesh? Okay. How much are you buying it from? How much? How much you want it for?
How much you tell me first? Okay, I'll start eating pound. 30p each, yeah? 30p each? No, brother, come on.
Connect to family, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to buy it, we will ensure that you get the full 50 minutes.
But you see, I've got a card that claims to that as well.
Yeah.
Why should I trust?
Because this card is better, that's why.
Why is it better?
In the sense that with this, you get the crystal clear connection. With that, we're not sure about it.
Well, I'm sure about that. I've used it.
In what way?
I've used it. I have physically. I have.
They're not going to buy it.
No,
They're not going to buy it.
No. Listen, I'll give you £1.
Some healthy competition going on right there, which is good, I guess. And of course, those of you watching at home, we are coming towards the end of our show, but don't forget, you can watch it back on YouTube, the 3G Boss UK, or on Channel S tomorrow, which will be repeated in the morning. Don't forget, you can also get in touch with us. All you've got to do is go onto facebook.com/the 3G Boss UK and tweet us at 3G Boss UK and let us know of your views. What did you think of the selling there? I mean, Ajmain was in Rad's patch. Do you think that was clever, or do you think that was wrong?
I think Ajmain stood his ground. Rad being the aloof professor type. I mean, he kept trying to try and distract Ajmain. But I think if Ajmain had again gone back to his team, garnered their support, I think they would have done much better, and they would have probably won because I think they had a better structure, better setup. even though there was a spelling mistake on the card. But I think they did extremely well. But Ajmain, again, is a very strong candidate. I think I would add him with those three that Nofalbai mentioned earlier.
And with regards to their cards now, there was a huge mistake on the card which Nabila had made. Connect was spelt incorrectly. They were selling out simple call cards. How did you feel about that?
Well, basically, the cards would say it's powered by Simple Call. Essentially, it's their responsibility because buck stops with them. Whoever owns the show, it's their responsibility. So they should have done a little bit of proofreading.
Yeah.
Because when you send something to designer, you don't expect designer to pick up on your spelling mistakes.
No, absolutely.
Happens.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today. And of course, thank you, Simple Call, for supporting the 3G Boss. And Jahin, we'll see lots more of you. And we want you back with all the gossip. So make sure you and I talk later, okay?
Collaborating on Simple Call, they've been a big part of 3G Boss. So thank you.
It's a pleasure.
For all your help.
It's a pleasure.
And thank you so much, our judge, Sanwar Chaudhry. Of course, we'll see a lot more of you as well. And those of you at home, don't forget you can watch this again tomorrow on Channel S repeated. And you can also see it on YouTube. But for now, it is time for me, Nadia, to sign out. Make sure you stay safe, stay good. See you next week.
Boss in partnership with Canary Wharf Group. In association with Simple Call, sponsored by Feast Restaurant, NCL Tours, London Churchill College and Shard Restaurant, Brick Lane. Charity partner, ICRA International.